This episode of Chewing the Fat is brought to you by the Secret Hub Studios in conjunction with netchannel2.com. Good evening everyone, back for another week, Chewing the Fat, episode 16, 10th of the 11th, 2011. And once again we have Mr. Glenn Goodman with us.
Hello everybody. Hello Erik.
How are you, mate? How you going?
How you doing? Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Blimey, it's been a hot day here today.
Has it really? Has it been hot?
Oh, I've turned the air conditioner on. It's still on.
Well,
Yeah.
it rained again today. We had 2 hot days in a row, and then it rained. So I've been in the pool.
No, today was a good summer day today.
Oh, good, excellent. But your evening has been a little bit rough around the edges, according to the pre-show chat.
Yes. Well, I suppose everyone wants to be enlightened.
No,
but,
not really.
Yeah, they look at Qantas pilots launch court challenge to ban on industrial action against the airline. Are these guys serious?
What are they up to? Read it out to me. What are they up to?
Oh, so we're all familiar with the Fair Work decision, the Fair Work Australia's decision to ban any more industrial.
Which, by the way, is a stupid name for a commission, but that's another story.
Yeah, but anyway, so we're all familiar with that. Qantas and the unions are having a bicker and a banter, going to and fro, couldn't agree, slapping each other, and so the Fair Work Australia stepped in. Oh, okay, Qantas was grounded by Qantas. The chief executive said, "That's it, planes are finished, off out of the air." So anyway, the Fair Work said, no more strikes, not allowed to strike anymore, guys, get back to work. So the Qantas Pilots Union is taking federal court action to challenge the Fair Work Australia's decision to terminate its protected industrial action against Qantas. The Australian International and Pilots Association said it launched proceedings before the full court of the federal court today. Like, are they serious?
Well, so this is the thing, that they're not allowed to strike for 21 days, is that right? And
they've got to reach an agreement within 21 days.
Right. Well,
and then apparently they've got another 21 if they need it.
Right.
So work that one out.
Okay. Well, I don't know which side I've fallen on this, but at the same time, if Mr. Alan Joyce, didn't give himself a $5 million pay rise, and on this pretty much in the same week as he said he's cutting staff, probably a lot of these strikes or potential strikes or threatened strikes may have been avoided. What do you think?
Look, I can see. I'll finish just with why they're going to court. Fair Work Australia terminated industrial action. Yeah, blah blah blah. The union said it was concerning that a minor action such as wearing of a tie could be met with a disproportionate response by the employer in the form of the lockout, which resulted in union memberships losing their rights. The federal government has said it will take on the Qantas workers in court if they decide to appeal the Fair Work Australia decision. So, like, now the ombudsman's, are we fighting in an equal playing field? Everyone's happy with the Fair Work Australia there in the background as the ombudsman if problems happen. Why are they going to go to court against the ombudsman?
Well, obviously they think that the whatever was handed down was unfair to them. But we need to know those reasons. Why do they think it's unfair to them? That's probably the question. Look,
I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, I don't know how your thoughts are, and I know there's a lot of issues behind all any decisions.
It is more complicated than what we've been told, obviously.
But ultimately, it's the employer that pays the bills. Ultimately, it's the employer that should, I believe, have the last say.
Well, yes, but I think it's not the principle that I'm arguing here. It's how it was handled. Because without a happy workforce, you don't have a company. And if they're not happy, you've got to find out why they're not happy. And part of the reason I think they're not happy is because you've got a chief executive who's quite, I'm not saying this, but some would say he's arrogant. Some would say he's lost touch. Some would say that he has no idea about running a major international airline. You've got to remember he came from Jetstar. Where he came before that, I have no idea. He just popped out of nowhere. Running a low-cost discount airline That's a completely different kettle of fish to running a major international airline like Qantas. Now, the airline industry is a very tough industry to be in, no bones about it. But I don't know if you all remember, that when Coles, which is a discount retailer, took over Grace Brothers, which was a high-end retailer, which competed with David Jones in the 80s and late 80s, right up to the late 80s. And as soon as Coles took them over, it went downhill. It went to the toilet. It became a trash bag, disgusting store that couldn't get it together. Now, I fear that the same thing is happening with Qantas, because you've got someone in there who doesn't know how to run a big-ticket brand like Qantas.
Yeah, and I mean, like, because I'm not saying that I'm against the work or anything like that at all. But at the same, like, I think, okay, the Qantas is the employer. If they want to run their company into the ground, well, if that's the way they're going to do, if they want an unhappy workforce, if they haven't got the sense to see that they should be able to sit back, let's negotiate with these guys, let's find out the problem, get a happy workforce, happy employee, productive employee. Yeah. So if they haven't got the foresight to do that, you know.
Well, that's right.
But
and
obviously,
I agree. And I think it goes across a lot of areas. And unfortunately, you've got a squillion unions to deal with, which doesn't make your job any easier. So I wouldn't be in the airline industry for all the tea in China. That is one tough industry to be in. But he was hired to do a job because in their mind, whoever chose him, and in his mind, he was up to it. So either he's up to it or he's not. And if not, get out.
Yeah, because he did say that the decision was his alone, but obviously his decision was back.
He would have consulted the board. He would have consulted the people around him. You've got to get advice on things like this. It's something as big as that.
Yeah, but this whole story, though, was about that the union is now taking the Fair Work Australia to court over that decision. I think that's a bit... Well, I don't know. I think that might be a bit out there.
I disagree with that. The union should just... at the end of the day, Qantas has to abide by it. And Qantas isn't suing Fair Work Australia saying it's not fair or whatever reasons they're giving. The union has to abide by it. And they should just sit down and have a chat and say, look, let's just nut this out. On one hand, but on the other hand, Joyce has got to pull his head in and actually not be such a, you know what.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Like, I think Joyce does have a responsibility if he wants the airline to continue and to be a great company, that he has to make concessions.
That's right. And that's part of his job. Yeah. As CEO, he's got to make decisions that are in the best interest of as many people as possible, from the employees to the suppliers to the shareholders to the management to everything. And if he can't do that, well then,
But anyway, the union said it was concerning. So the pilots wore a red tie as their protest. Like, they didn't strike or anything. They just wore the red tie.
Did it have a kangaroo on it?
No, I'm not sure. And I think maybe before the takeoff of a few flights, or maybe quite a few flights, there was a brief announcement that, the pilots weren't happy and all this blah, blah, blah. And the union is not happy because the lockout was such a disproportionate response by the employer, and that's what they're not happy about. And they're not happy that has resulted in union members losing their rights. And I guess that they're right by that sentence there. Their rights is their right to strike.
Yes. But have you noticed that ever since the federal Labor government has come in, you've had the militants are back. The union militants are back.
Yes.
How many times did Qantas strike under a Liberal government? How many times did the teachers strike under a Liberal government? Labor government's been in for 5 minutes and everyone's frickin' striking.
Where's Norm Gallagher when you need him?
No, he's dead.
Oh, did he? Is he dead?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Normie.
Oh,
Normie.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he's down there looking up at us right now.
I just remember from when I was a young fella that this Norm Gallagher, he was just on the TV blowing up.
He's a thug.
He is too.
He's a massive thug. Used to be. Well, so look, speaking of rats.
26th of August, 1999. Yes.
Chinese koala meat was being sold in a Chinese restaurant. But it wasn't koala meat, which would be pretty despicable if it was. It was actually something they call a bamboo rat. I'll read the story. A restaurant in southern China that found itself at the centre of outrage for selling koala meat claims, in fact, it was selling a type of rat that bears a resemblance to the drowsy marsupial. An Australian tourist visiting a restaurant in Guangzhou's Panyu district told the radio station 3AW that diners were able to select a live koala from a cage and could choose whether they wanted it braised or stewed.
A live one?
Yeah. You know when you go into a seafood restaurant and you think, I'll have that lobster. Right.
Yeah.
Distressed
That's
by
a
the
bit harsh.
scene, the traveller snapped a photo of what appeared to be the iconic animal, bent forward, and this is distressing, and facing downward in a cage with only a carrot given as food. Koalas don't eat carrots. They eat gum leaves. But the general manager of the restaurant denied the animal was a koala. The Xinhua news agency reported the Australian tourist was actually the victim of a false alarm, as the restaurant never sells koala. Another manager at the restaurant clarified that the animal was a bamboo rat, which bears a resemblance to the koala. So how's that, eh?
A bamboo rat?
Why would
you want to eat a koala anyway?
I don't understand.
Chinese eat
Look,
anything.
I'm not going to get into any. I'm not going to insult anyone's culture here. They can eat what they like, but to keep away from the koalas.
Yeah, true.
Keep away from the koalas.
But it's just like,
Hey,
like in
they're not
some
tasty.
countries,
Trust me, I know.
Oh, you're not serious, are you?
No, of course not. I've had crocodile. Have you had a crocodile?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had croc and kangaroo.
And kangaroo meat is beautiful on the barbie. Actually, we're having a barbie this weekend. That's what I'll get. Good.
Yeah, some kangas.
Kanga
Just watch
steaks.
they don't jump off.
That's right. Put another kanga on the barbie.
Yeah, look, I don't know. Yeah, everyone's got different tastes. Like some people, they don't like eating pork. Some people don't like eating
right.
red meat.
Some people don't like eating eggs. The French eat snails and frogs' legs.
Frog's legs. That's
the
right.
Chinese eat dog and snakes, and the Americans eat Big Macs. So
Everyone's different.
Everyone's different. Yeah, everyone's got a different culture. Speaking of America,
What's going on over there?
$9.95 broadband is on offer for the poor in the United States, which I think is a good idea. All the cable companies have jumped on this, and they will offer $9.95 per month broadband to homes with children. In other words, you know how we've got the family tax benefit here in Australia?
Yeah.
A and B. And so if you're eligible for either of those two, you get other things as well.
Yes.
Right? So in America, they've got a similar thing. So if you're a child that's eligible for free school lunches, it's part of their social security thing, then your family will be able to jump on and get this $9.95 broadband.
Right. And what is it, dial-up?
No, it's broadband. But this is where it stinks a little bit. I can't remember the name of the company. I've got the notes here. It's too long. One company is offering 1 megabit down as the minimum speed. Other companies are offering a minimum speed of 1.5 megabits per second download, which is not too bad.
Not bad.
For $10 a month, that's not bad.
Yeah. Well, that's ADSL speeds, isn't it? Really?
ADSL. ADSL. Other things they're doing over there for the poor kids is that an initiative called Connect to Compete, which includes Microsoft and others, will sell its PCs with Office software suite for $250 to low-income families. That's pretty good too. Get them on the net. Get them using Office, because they're saying here that 1/3, or about 35 million homes, that's a hell of a lot, don't have broadband. This affects people's ability to educate themselves, which is true, because information is knowledge, and find and apply for jobs, because everything's on the net now. You apply for jobs, everything's on the internet. Even if you want to get Social Security, everything's on the internet. So I think this is a great idea. And so my next question is, when is something like this going to happen in this country? There you go.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think we do. I know you can get cheap computers, I think, through the government, used government computers or whatever they may be.
But none of this one laptop per child garbage that doesn't really work. I think they should be given vouchers that they can spend at Harvey Norman. And if the computers are normally $600, They give their voucher for $250, and Harvey Norman collects the difference from the government.
But realistically, I mean, like, I don't know. I haven't looked in the classifieds before I say this statement. But do people sell second-hand computers? Like,
Yeah, they do. You go to eBay. If you go to eBay, you'll sell them.
If you upgrade.
But you know, I'm a little bit against selling crappy second-hand computers to people who need computers to look for work and whatnot. I mean, you know, really, it's slow them down. It's not compatible with anything. Just give the poor bastards a break, I say.
Yeah, like I haven't sold a second-hand computer because like, I think I might probably just hold on to them for so long that they're useless.
Yes.
But I mean, like I just gave away some laptops and stuff, just really old ones.
Yeah. I won't. Yeah. I'll give them away. I won't sell them. You're right.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you know, like everyone, when you go out and buy a computer now, you're buying an entry-level computer. What's entry-level now? i5, maybe.
Yeah, i3, i5.
Yeah, well, it's around there somewhere. So i3 or i5 entry level. So what, you're upgrading from a quad core? So why can't we have some sort of system or Core 2 Duo or something where it's perfectly accessible, easily to
Core 2 Duos run Windows 7 perfectly fine. I got my netbook here, that Dell laptop that's got a one core that runs Windows 7 and it screams.
Yeah. Why can't, you know how the companies get a volume licensing deal?
Yeah.
Why can't we Australia just apply for a volume licensing deal?
Well, I agree, but see, that's going to be up to it's going to be up to the initiative of the government or the relevant departments to approach these companies. Obviously, the US government has approached Microsoft and others to do this deal. Well, I think our government, instead of just talking all the time and banging on about carbon tax, and which I'm not going to discuss tonight because I'm going to kill someone. Instead of banging on about useless crap and just they're always in the paper about, you know, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and they never do anything. It's all garbage.
Yeah.
Why not actually do something? Ring these companies up and say, look, we've got to help people here. You know, there are people below the poverty line in this country too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think in Australia, would our poor be as poor as those in America?
No. But there still are people that are in need. Definitely. The poor in America, there's such a disparate, you know, there's such a huge difference between middle class and poor there. It's quite disturbing.
Well, I suppose, like, it's probably the same in America, where if you wanted to apply for this job and it was only on the internet, we would go to your local library. I know you could in Australia.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it's like there. I'm assuming that most of their libraries or some of their libraries would have those facilities. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you can't get down there, because you're minding kids, you know, you've got kids at home with you and you're trying to look for work at the same time, you're not going to drag them to the library, because the library, you've got to be quiet.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good idea. I think it's great. 1 meg down. Yeah. That's fast enough to browse. Easy.
Look, it's fast enough to put an application down in. No problem.
Yeah.
You won't be streaming any porn, but you can get a job.
Talking about the low-earning community, low-earning people, I've got a little story here I pulled out. I don't know how I feel about this one just yet, but low-earning community sector workers set for pay boost. Now, there's about 150,000 low-paid community sector workers.
I'm quite upset about this, but not for the reasons you think.
Can expect pay rises of at least $7,000 under the government's appeal.
Has anyone told anyone how they're going to pay for this?
Carbon tax.
Has anyone mentioned to this very economically best treasurer in the world, we're fantastic government, that doing something like this is actually extremely inflationary, which is only going to raise interest rates?
It's because you could say that it's going to have a knock-on effect to the rest of the workforce, you would imagine.
No, of course.
I'm not sure. Look, I'm not saying that these people don't deserve as much as they can get. Like, they're obviously dealing with people and stuff.
Yep.
But when you look at what is actually going to happen, like we've got here, Miss Gillard said a worker at a community legal centre who appeared as a witness in the case would see her pay rise from $49,500 to $66,000. That's
equal
huge.
the male thing. You know what my thing is? Why is it up to the government? Go down to the community centre, and hang on. This government is about equal rights for women. They have been since day one, right? It's all about blah 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 blah, and this is why they're doing this. But go down, knock on the door of the community centre, and say, "Hang on, you guys are breaking the law. equal pay for equal skills, start paying your women more, or else we're going to fine you or sue you or whatever. Why should it be up to the government to actually say, we're going to give you the money? It should be up to the individual companies to do that.
Yeah, but maybe all these are community sector workers. Would that mean that they're paid by the government anyway?
They're paid by government and they're paid by donations. A lot of these community sectors have money, but they're not spending it in the areas they should be spending it. I've got no problem with it. I don't care if you're pink, purple, male, female, black, white, short hair, long hair, fat, skinny. I don't care. If you do as good a job as a bloke next door, you should be paid the same.
Yeah. There's another one here who arranges, okay, and I don't know if this is the full job description, but this is all we've got. But a person that arranges out-of-home care for vulnerable people could expect
system.
pay rise from 41,000 to 55,000.
Right,
They're just arranging stuff.
As long as that means that person is getting paid the same. If they're talking about a female worker, and now they're going to be on the equal pay, and let's assume that they're both working the same hours too here. Let's make that assumption. If that means that you're working 40 hours and the male over next door is working 40 hours, and now you're going to get to pay the same as him, I've got no issue with that. None at all.
Yeah. Now, just remember the first one there was now they're going to get, this lady's going to get 66,000. Now I pulled off a few other wages. Now these are 2009,
right?
So they're probably not up to date, but you'd think they'd be pretty close.
But I want to question if these are actually accurate figures as well, or is this the government using figures to suit their argument? You know what I'm saying?
No, well, this was from a different site. These figures.
Okay.
My little list that I've got here, they are linked. You can see that you can link to the site acpeople.com.au/cat/accounting-auditors_1008xj.
No one's going to remember that.
I know. But anyway, accountants, 60,000. Now this is probably.
But what accountants 60,000? What criteria have they got there? Experience, age, industry.
Yeah, I'd be saying that this is probably an accountant working for maybe a government department or something.
Okay, let's assume that.
Yeah. So we've got a vet, 58,000.
I don't know where they're getting their figures because the vets I know earn a shitload more than that.
But they may be not these are employed.
These are employee vets. Okay, maybe a few years out of uni. Young people.
Yeah.
Let's call it under 30.
But the one I pulled out was 41,000 bank teller. So what I'm sort of getting at is that I think by increasing these pays to 66,000 and 55,000 and the likes, that's just a hell of a lot of money that is probably not is repeated in the private sector.
Oh, I see what you're getting at. All right, let's compare this. I see what you're getting at. You've got someone who's doing. He's a vet as an employee. Now, veterinary doctors spend a hell of a lot of time in university to get skilled up to be a vet. They're quite bright, and they've spent a lot of their own money getting educated. And they're on 58,000. Let's call it 60,000. On the flip side, so these are professionals. And on the flip side, you've got someone who's less qualified, who's now going to earn 66,000. So I would dare to suggest that this is once again, this government is playing politics of envy. Let's give people who don't deserve the money more money, and this is not about male female anymore. This is about you do an unskilled job, and because you left school in year 9. And you were lazy for a long time until you decided to get off your ass and work, and you're only earning $40,000. We feel sorry for you, so now we're going to pay you as much as a vet who got off his ass his whole life and worked his butt off and spent $100,000 of his own money to go through uni, but we're going to pay you as much as him now. That is absolute crap. If that's the case, that is absolute crap.
Well, from this site, acpeople.com.au, physiotherapists will diagnose, treat patients. experiencing issues with movement in the body. It is also a physiotherapist's role to help people avoid injury. Physiotherapists will possess good interpersonal skills as they work. With a large cross-section of people, becoming a physiotherapist requires a bachelor degree over 4 years, which will include hands-on industry placement. Updated 2011. How much do physiotherapists make? Salary per year, 67,500.
That's right.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And now you're saying the other person is going to earn nothing. He's going to earn just as much.
For making phone calls.
For making phone calls. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is typical. This is why this article angers me. This is why I didn't want to talk about it. I was going to put this in the story, but my blood pressure, I tell you what, the 3 boot camp workouts I'm doing a week is not helping. Because every time I read stories like this from this Labor government, socialists who will just throw money at the problem and will hope it'll go away, I tell you, it is driving me absolutely bonkers. I can't wait for the next election.
Bob Brown's giving out hugs, if you want one.
I'm going to go around to Tasmania and I won't be giving him a hug. I can tell you that right now. I'll be giving him a Khyber with my leather shoes.
Throw a thong at him.
Oh, he's such a turd. I cannot wait to the next election when he loses his seat. I swear. Oh God.
So he's seated in Tasmania. Is this where he is?
Well, I hope he stays there. Anyway, speaking of thieves.
Yes.
Now, Glenn, during the week, you wouldn't have happened to been in Pennsylvania by any chance.
No, I came back probably just at the end of last week, yes.
Okay, now, because a man, you weren't looking for a job at an electronics store in Pennsylvania, were you?
No,
okay, so
I
it wasn't you. A man who was turned down for a job at a Pennsylvania electronics store stole an Xbox from the premises by shoving the console into his pants.
What?
Then fought with police during his arrest, according to court records. This is funny. Timothy Mendez, 23, from Bushkill, Pennsylvania, is charged with theft, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and flight to avoid apprehension. Now, he went to an interview on November 2, but did not get the job. An employee then saw him in the Xbox section of the store and later found an empty box there. Store manager said surveillance tape showed the man hiding the game system, the whole system, not just the games. He's trying to put this console down his pants.
Joe, he must have had like trackies on or something.
Oh, trackies! He must have been the size of a house. When police,
he must have. He was that what's that bloke that sung that Hammer Time song?
MC Hammer.
Yeah, it must have had MC Hammer pants.
No, I think so. Maybe it was MC Hammer. And when police arrested Mendez at his home, he tried to escape through a basement door and fought with police who used a taser to subdue him. Now, this is the funny bit. He is being held in Northampton County Prison on $15,000 bail. Now, I ask you, if he can't afford an Xbox, where is he going to come up with 15 grand bail?
Well, they must want him to go to the can.
I think they're saying, they could have set bail at $10 and he wouldn't be getting out.
So, does he get to keep the Xbox?
That's what I want. Maybe he's going to play it in the can. Can I have my Xbox now? Can you plug it in?
Yeah. So how would he go for leads and the controller and everything?
We'll just run an extension cord.
What a knob!
That's pretty funny.
That's a knob of the week, isn't it?
Right. Very funny.
They're not small items. See, how can you put that down? I'm just looking at mine now. How can you put that down your pants?
I reckon he had massive tracky dacks on, and he was probably quite large as an individual. So an extra console on there wouldn't have been noticed. You know, like when you get really big people that are pregnant, you can't tell.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just stuffed it down
That leads us to our next story. Drug kills fat cells in obese monkeys.
Oh, what drug's this?
Obese monkeys saw their waistlines shrink in just weeks. I hope they're allowed to put their bikinis on after this. After scientists gave them an experimental drug that zaps fat cells. A research team led by scientists at the University of Texas tested a group of overweight rhesus monkeys with a drug that destroys the blood supply of fat tissue. After just 4 weeks, the primates lost an average of 11% of their body weight. Bring it on, I say. Bring it on.
I reckon. How easy is that? That's all right.
But you know what? I've got a bit of a right wing take on this. I think that this is a good thing, that because a lot of people are suffering that are overweight, that shouldn't be overweight, and they're going to die a very early death. But if they're given this drug, they have to sign a stat deck that says just because you're on this drug, it doesn't mean you can keep eating shit. Because it defeats the purpose. They've got to change their lifestyle, and they'll be given the drug. And I think they should have blood tests once a week for a period of time to test what's in their system. So if I go down to my doctor and says, "Righto, doc, stick it in me," give the blood test, and he says, "Right, you've got 90% Big Mac," I'm gone.
How many times do you say that to your doc? Stick it in me.
Not many. Depends who it is.
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
Oh, that probably reminds everyone it is Movember.
Oh,
so
yes.
God help me growing a mo, but but it is Movember. So if you know anyone that's doing it, do a donation because it's all for prostate cancer.
It is a good cause, and I can't grow a mo if my life depended on it. And Glenn hasn't shaved in 3 years, so you can see.
That's right.
Put him on the screen. There you go. Look, no shave, 3 years. Throw the brawn away.
No.
This is 2 days for me. Here, 2 days. Nothing.
Yeah.
Just a little bit up the top.
You go back through all the podcasts and see if you ever see me with a snail under my nose.
Nothing.
No.
There you go.
No.
So there you go. That's our show.
Good stuff. Another one went fast.
Oh no! Last one. You will love this. Sorry, false alarm. Last story. This quick one. A man in Detroit has let his 9-year-old daughter become the designated driver because he's always pissed. The young girl was asked to testify in the case against her father, 39-year-old father. The two were stopped by police at 3 a.m. She's 9 years old. She was stopped at 3 a.m.
What a joke.
And the young girl asked the police, "What did you stop me for?" "I was driving good."
She had blocks tied to the brake pedal and the accelerator.
Yeah, she was on a what do you call it? So she could see over the dashboard. Booster. She obviously now he's been charged with child abuse, endangering a minor, and all sorts of things. He's in a massive amount of crap. The night the police stopped her and her father, he had consumed half a bottle of whiskey.
Wow.
How is that?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That could kill a human. Yeah. Maybe this was the...
Yeah.
This guy would be pretty large too, I reckon he's the same bloke that did the Xbox.
He could have been. Maybe that's how they're trying to go home. He's driving home. They should have looked in the boot of his car, see if there's an Xbox in there. Would have busted him for theft and endangering a minor. So obviously the girl's been taken away from the father. And the sad thing is they don't know where the mother is. She's probably still at the pub.
Yeah, she's playing Xbox. She's at home playing Xbox.
I wonder if anyone's tried to steal a dwarf in their pants. That'd be funny.
Why would you want to do that?
Go to Dwarf World.
No thanks.
Why has it been people talking about dwarfs tonight? I don't know.
What is it with dwarfs?
Crazy.
I think we were talking about that in the previous show. That's Will's fault. He mentioned something. It's your fault.
Just because you can throw them and make a sport out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Anyway,
I'm
boys.
joking, so no emails.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Good show.
Thank you, Eric.
All
thanks,
right.
Listeners. Thanks, casters.
Thanks, chat room. And we'll see you again next week. Chewing the Fat, episode 17 next week.
Chewing the Fat is brought to you by the Secret Hub Studios in conjunction with netchannel2.com.